All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another video. All right, y'all, just back with another discussion video here I want to go ahead and put out because I'm kind of busy today doing some other things. So I probably won't be on live tonight, sitting down doing a live stream with y'all. I will be posting up a show that I recorded yesterday. I will be posting that up live tonight. But other than that, I won't be able to do a live. So I just want to get back on and do this video here, a little discussion that's been just going on with me, as far as trying to, just figure out who's going to be like the next big thing at 125. But the other night, a few nights ago now, almost a week ago, shout out to my man BJ from No Filter MMA. He had me on his stream, and I talk about this in the show I recorded as well, about well-rounded fighters. And, the topic of Casey O'Neill came up. So I just wanted to talk about Casey O'Neill in this video. I didn't really go into it as much, but, the topic came up about Casey O'Neill being a big threat to the flyweight division, seeing her as that next big thing, that next big contender. And, one of the big things that was said about her, of course, from No Filter, is that Casey O'Neill is a well-rounded fighter. She was lumped in with the well-rounded fighters. And in my opinion, like I said, Casey O'Neill, I don't think she is a well-rounded fighter right now. Like, she hasn't really shown me signs of being a well-rounded fighter or being a potential threat. Like I said, when I made my potential threat, which I have to explain to people now, time and time again, a potential threat to the division in the triple threat is somebody I see has a style, they have a work rate, they have a discipline about them that can get them further in the division from where they are. Like, I can already see something in them. I'm not saying that they will make it or it's a guarantee, but I'm just saying, like, versus all the other fighters in the unranked tier and the low tier, they stand out. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Like every time I can say, when you lump a whole bunch of kids together and, you in a class, you'll see some standout kids, right? You'll say, okay, this kid is smart. Like, this kid is destined for great things. Like, will he go that direction? I don't know. It all depends on how he's groomed and how he's taken to that right direction he needs to go, right? So they have that early potential. Like I said, like Manon, Taylor, and Miranda, they have those styles, they have those skills that'll get them there. Hell, Taylor Santos is already there. She's one of those ones that I've said is part of the triple threat that eventually get through there and walk through a lot, well, not walk through, but dominate a lot of these other veterans to get her a title shot. So she's the first one out of the triple threat to make it. So we got two more, right? So like I said, they possess skills, in my opinion, where I say they have the potential to take them far. Now, Casey O'Neill, on the other hand, I think that she's dominant where she's at, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done there. Now, I'm not saying she's not a good fighter, but Casey O'Neill has a lot of natural abilities. Like, that's a good thing. Casey O'Neill has a lot of natural abilities that you can't teach, which can take her far. Like, she does have, the grittiness, the toughness, the gutsiness about her that wants to fight anybody. She has that coldness about her that she wants to go in there and win. Like, and that can lead to that dominance factor that I'm always talking about. Like, dominance is a big part of the triple threat that I see in them, that they want to not, they don't just want to go in there and win. They want to go in there and dominate and take their opponent's heads off. They want to break them down. And I think Casey O'Neill does have that factor in there, but there's still just a lot of technical things that you need to see worked out with her. Like, even if you go back and analyze, like, her 3 finishes, right? Her 3 finishes look good on paper, but if you go back and analyze them technically, a lot of the things that happen in those fights, say if she doesn't get any better, if she just continues to ride the way she's going, imagine, like, the same fighters exposing those mistakes on a higher level, like the mid tier and the upper tier. If she ever gets to that point, it'll get exposed before she can get to the championship, right? So if you just go back and look at those fights, you'll see what I'm talking about. But again, I'm not knocking her as, like, saying, oh, she doesn't have it. She's not, a good fighter at all, but she is, but she's still green. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, again, she's younger than fighters like Manon Firo and, she's around the age like Miranda Maverick and Taylor, but, like, she's younger than fighters like Manon Firo. So if I see something more in Manon Firo, that should be okay, because she's more mature, she's older, she's a double champion in 2 other organizations, so she's been there before, and she should be more experienced at this point, right? At 31 years old, 5 years older than Casey O'Neill, right? I think, give or take a year, so she's already been there. And now that she's on this platform, she should be looking better than Casey O'Neill, right? And I do consider her well-rounded because I think Casey O'Neill, unlike Casey O'Neill, I think Manon Firo can take it to the ground if she has to, but she just doesn't have to because she's able to dominate with her stand-up. But she has shown in some of her past fights that, look, I have the strength, I have the ground game to even nullify Mayra Bueno Silva, right? Now, see Mayra Bueno Silva on the ground with Casey O'Neill, I don't know how that would go. I really don't know how that would go. I think Mayra Bueno Silva is technically better on the ground than Casey O'Neill. Now, Casey O'Neill does have the hunger, so she could probably cancel that out. I don't know. She has that ability to go in there and say, look, I want to win, and I'm going to find it by any means necessary. But that mentality can only get you so far. Like, that mentality works on the lower level around those lower level fighters, but eventually you're going to have other tools and other skill sets that are sharp. And that's my point about Casey O'Neill. Like, Casey O'Neill is good on the ground. Like, she's good. She's strong. Her clinch game is good. Her pressure is good. But then when you start to look at the defense, when you go back and look at the Shannon Dobson fight, she got hit to the body a lot. She caught some big power shots. If Shannon Dobson would have used her feet more, she probably could have set up punches in the center of the octagon and possibly stopped Casey O'Neill. When you go back and look at Laura Procopio, snapping the head back of Casey O'Neill, right? You look at those shots that she landed. There was a lot of good moments in there. It's just that she had the resilience to go on and on. Like, she had the gas tank to go on, right? So what happens whenever you deal with a striker or a fighter with good footwork, good gas tank, good head movement, and defense, right? What happens when Casey O'Neill deals with that type of fighter, right? So there's no problem with saying that she's not well-rounded, because you call her well-rounded now, or she has that potential to go on, then it's like giving her false hope to me. Like, Casey O'Neill still has a lot of work to do before we ever see her in there with a Jennifer Maia or even a Caitlin Chikagian, because right now, I don't think her style matches up well with those fighters. But like I said, with these fighters like Taylor, like, she's already proven. I won't even mention her. The fighters like Miranda and Manon, I think, they have a plan B, they have a plan C. They can go to the toolbox and switch it up if they need to. I've already seen Miranda do that several times, against, other styles that she's never faced before. She'll adapt to a fight. I think Manon Firo, she has the dominance factor in her, and the strength and the striking IQ, and the power to cancel out a lot of what these girls above her have. So, of course, it's yet to be seen, but the tools are obvious. When you look at who throws the better punches between Casey and Manon, who throws the better kicks, who has the better distance management, who has the better octagon generalship, it's Manon, right? She doesn't just go in there, guns blazing. Casey, I know she likes to finish these fights and she wants to look good, but eventually, you're going to have more of a pacing in these fights, right? So that's all I'm saying. Can Casey O'Neill get to the point where she is well-rounded? Of course. But to say she's well-rounded now, I just think that's kind of stretching it. She's getting wins now. She's getting wins against the competition that she's fighting, but, there's still a lot of work to be done. And I know I'm on the outside looking in, but that's just what I'm seeing. And I think a lot of people can agree with me on that. Again, it's not saying she's a bad fighter at all, but it's just saying to get to the level of Shevchenko, Valentina, that is, there's some things that need to be tightened up. And I think they know that too. That's why her team, like I said, her team didn't want to just go in there with even Macy Barber. Macy Barber, they're kind of in similar situations. Macy and Casey, I just realized that. Macy and Casey, they both are kind of in similar situations. They got all those natural abilities, the guts, the rawness, some rawness about them. Hers is the ground game, whereas Macy's the power. To go in there. They got the mic skills. They like to talk. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing to get them where they need to be. But there's a lot of technical work there that needs to be polished up at this young age for these 20-somethings, And me being on the outside looking in with some age over them, I can say that, right? I can say that because we've seen it all. And we've seen it all. We've seen those that made it. We've seen some that haven't made it. So Casey, I think that she is in a good place right now, with her wins, but she's got a big test coming up in February. And, I've been thinking about it. I've been looking at Roxy's fights, some of her past fights. And the formula to beat Roxy, I've told y'all time and time again, when you ask me about Roxanne, do you think she can win or do you think she'll lose? I said just go back and look at Roxy's losses. Like if you go back and look at Roxy's losses, that'll tell you what you need to beat Roxanne every single time. Like everybody that Roxanne lost to as of recently, I say even go back 3-4 years, 5 years ago. Everybody that beat Roxanne was stronger than her. They had to have some type of physical strength, and they had to have some type of IQ on using it. You know, like Taylor Santos, Arujo, Lauren Murphy. You know, it was always the strong girls that didn't give her any space, and they pressured her and just ragdolled her. You know, you have to have that in you. And that's the question about Casey. We seen Casey press girls, but can she press Roxanne in an educated manner and get her down and keep her down? Because we're talking about, you know, Roxanne's solid on the ground. Like Roxanne is solid. She just couldn't get anything in because fighters like Viviane Araújo had great takedown defense. Taylor was better on the ground. You know, even though Roxanne's a black belt, right, on BJJ, and I think Taylor's a blue belt or a brown belt. Correct me if I'm wrong, but hey, her jiu-jitsu matched with physical strength. You saw what it was able to do. And then you mix in her striking as well. Does Casey have that type of striking? Does she have that type of ground game? Does she have that type of takedown defense if she wants to stay on the feet? Like, still a lot of questions here, you know. I know, like I said, a lot of the things I've seen in her wins were going off of natural ability and some, you know, technique on the ground with her jiu-jitsu, but there's just a long road to go to be called well-rounded for it. You know, the fighters I call well-rounded in the triple threat, they've laid the groundwork. That's why I put them in there, because I've already seen them for years now. And, you know, I'm basing that off of, you know, 5 years of research on even like Miranda, you know. So, yeah, I mean, a video's coming fully on the triple threat, and I'll break it down for you why I call it that and why they're in there. I mean, Taylor already speaks for itself. So, you know, she's already the exception. Look, her speaks for itself. I mean, Taylor's already there. Y'all see why she's in my triple threat, because, look, she may be next for Valentina Shevchenko. But as for the others like Manon, like I said, man, they got the dominance factor. They got the tools. They got the ability to adapt. Casey, we gotta see that, man. You know, we got to see that. I don't know, man. I don't know what y'all think about the February fight. Like, the more and more I look at that fight with her and Roxy, I kind of see Roxy trying to go all out, and it's going to be tough for Casey in there, man. Like, I don't know if Casey has that physical strength like Taylor and them. Like, can she go in there and just push her and dominate her and, you know, cancel her out? Can she get past the striking? And that's the thing. Like, another thing about Casey is defense. You know, defense is a big part of what I could see could be her downfall. You know, the defense, man, like holes in her game, taking them big shots against Shanna Dobson to the body, Laura Procopio to the head. So we'll see, man. But yeah, like I said, man, being well-rounded, of course, you don't have to be well-rounded to get to the top, but you have to have something that really stands out. And right now, I don't think Casey O'Neill has like one or two things that really, really stand out that would just like blow through the top 10 of the flyweight division, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got on this, guys. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Like I said, triple threat video coming, especially before December 11th. You know, Miranda Maverick is taking on Erin Blanchfield. Man, that's going to be a good one. But, yeah, they're the fighters, like I said. I just see something in them where they will probably, you know, be getting to the top. You know, you'll probably see all three of them in the top, you know, by, I'd say, fall of 2022. And, you know, don't be surprised if some of them mix it up pretty soon. So, yeah, again, Casey O'Neill, no knock to her at all. I'm just saying, like, when you compare her to some of the other fighters, to really stand out, you really got to be putting in that work, you know, as far as your skill set and your technique. And yeah, I just don't see her defeating some of these, you know, top 10 as of right now. Like I said, that fighters like Taylor, I could already see the skills they had and the finishing power they had, and I could say, okay, it's going to be a problem. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people saw that in Taylor and Manon and Miranda. It was like, oh, they're going to be a problem. You know, Casey, we'll see. I hope she can put it together, though. You know, I hope she stays working. And, you know, hey, I like to add her to the list. You know, I'd like her to be number 4 one day. But, you know, that's just me. I'm not being harsh. Well, yeah, I'm a harsh critic sometimes. You know, I can be a harsh critic. And I think it's just going to take a little bit more to impress me, especially in this division that's run by the Bullet. Come on now. We know the Bullet runs this thing. And we've seen time and time again 6 title defenses in a row where she just completely washed everybody. So I got to be harsh. I have got to be harsh. And to be in the triple threat, you have to have something. So yeah, Casey O'Neill is not well rounded, and she won't make it to Valentina after seeing what Valentina did 6 times in a 6 times in a row. That many title defenses. Come on now, let's be real, y'all. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. Caitlin Kagan I consider more well rounded, and Jennifer Maia consider more well rounded. And see what happened to them, right? So yeah, we got to be real, y'all. This is a killer division. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what y'all think. Casey O'Neill, do you consider her well-rounded? Shout out to my man BJ from No Filter MMA. We'll talk about it. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.